What's up? What's up? Welcome to the channel. If you don't know who I am, Gabe Pluguez, founder of defaultkings.com. We help Christian entrepreneurs lose fat and keep it off. Worked with 800 plus guys one-on-one, and you might have probably seen me on X at some point. We have a lot of followers there. My wife is she's got her pregnancy ball. My wife is pregnant, 20 weeks pregnant. Say hi, Soph.
Hi.
And look at those abs.
Okay, they're starting to fade, but it's healthy. Growing for the baby.
Okay, so that's how I know what I'm talking about. Like, just look at my wife's abs, right? But today's video is going to be a what do you eat? How do you eat? How to eat video. And I'm just going to be documenting in a few different clips exactly what I actually eat throughout the day to stay fit while running a business and taking care of a pregnant wife. And so the first thing that we're going to be covering is this right here, Diet Coke. Okay, I thought about starting this in the morning, but you know, I tend to record these YouTube videos when I get pissed off enough about people not understanding things, but it's fine. So it's 2:20 p.m. and I've had breakfast. I've had, I think, one snack. I had an apple a few minutes ago, and I've had lunch, and now I'm having a Diet Coke. Diet Coke is awesome because it is 0 calories and the carbonation plus low dosage of caffeine, there's like 40 milligrams of caffeine in this, ends up suppressing your appetite a bit. So if you feel a little hungry, this is a great option. It also just tastes really good, so it helps curb cravings. And people always get their panties in a wad. I don't know if that's actually appropriate for like a Christian channel. Panties in a wad. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, triggering all the people who, are extremely religious and don't like to, ruffle any feathers. But people get upset about the aspartame, which is an interesting discussion. I can do an hour-long video on aspartame if I wanted, but long story short is that anything that can be potentially harmful is always dose dependent. So is aspartame good for you? No. Does aspartame make you healthier? Absolutely not. But the question is how much? Because even something that is good for you, like sunlight, if you get too high of a dose of sunlight, you will literally get cancer and die. Skin cancer and die. If you have too much water, you will die. If you do too much of anything good, you'll die. If you eat too much protein, you'll die. And so the question isn't, is it bad or good, is how much leads to bad outcomes. And with something like aspartame, they don't find anywhere near like drinking like 90 Diet Cokes per week or something like that to lead to any potentially, maybe, probably slightly harmful outcomes. And so it's not that the aspartame is necessarily good for you, but you would need to be drinking like 90 Diet Cokes a week to be anywhere near any kind of issues. And it does way more good than harm in my actual practice. Like working with real human beings, when you get off of X and you get off of the deep dive studies and all the health bio-optimizers who've never worked with any real human beings in their life, and they're just trying to write the most esoteric health advice to gain status with all of you people who follow it. When you work with real human beings, the people who drink the diet soda end up losing more weight and end up being healthier long term because they have a tool that helps them adhere to their nutrition. This is something that I do quite often. And so, yeah, that's the first thing we're drinking, diet soda. All right, we are doing breakfast, I guess you can call it. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm staying quiet because my pregnant wife is still sleeping, but breakfast I keep super simple, super quick. I'm not the type of guy who sits down and has breakfast. I don't like investing time into that. And so I keep it as quick and effective as humanly possible. And I start working towards my protein goal. A lot of people wait too late to start eating high protein meals. They get to the end of the night, they don't know what to do. They're trying to stay under their calorie goal while hitting their protein, and they end up getting screwed. And so I try to start working on that right away. So my breakfast is 99.9% of the time going to be a Fairlife protein shake. Either a pre-made one, just like this, that has 30 grams of protein, or I will do a scoop or a scoop and a half or 2 scoops of something like this with 8 ounces of this, which is the Fairlife reduced fat, high protein milk. And this is awesome because a normal milk is going to have 8 grams of protein in a cup. Fairlife has 13 grams of protein in a cup. So it's very, very solid. So yeah, super simple. This takes me like less than a minute to do, literally what I do. Whether it's the shaking up protein shake, or this, as I just open this up in the morning. Done. Breakfast is done. 30 grams of protein. Then I make sure I get some water in me. So I keep a big water cup or water bottle with me throughout the day, every single day, just because you gotta stay hydrated, right? Staying hydrated obviously is essential for all bodily functions, but it also keeps you full. It scaves away satiety. A lot of people can avoid hunger just by making sure that their stomach is full of water. So start sipping on water right away. And then the next thing that I do is coffee. All right, coffee. This is the most important meal of the day, obviously. No, what I do for coffee is super simple. I heat up some water in a tea kettle. Boom. And then I use one of these fancy pour over things. It's super hipster, super fun, super granola like that. Just kidding. I don't know why I started using this instead of just a normal coffee maker. I really have no idea. I have no preference really between this and a normal coffee maker. This might actually be a little bit faster than a normal coffee maker. Obviously, you got to put the scoops in there, heat up the water, but I mean, I already got, 2.5 cups of coffee right there. So the coffee that I like to use is Black Rifle. I'm using the Tactus Squatch right now. I exclusively use Black Rifle coffee, and there's no science behind that. It's literally just because it's Black Rifle, and it's called Black Rifle, and I like guns. Merca, that's it. That's literally the only reason I feel Merkin when I drink Black Rifle. So I only use Black Rifle. And yeah, I guess now, just talking it out loud, this is faster than a normal coffee maker. So again, speed is what I'm really optimizing for when it comes to these breakfasts. This is obviously not even the right pour over thing. It's supposed to go in there, but don't care. And then speed. I know, whoa, that cracked a little bit. I know I'm going to drink 3 to 4 cups of coffee anyway. So I just pour it all into this big mason jar because I'm going to drink a lot of coffee anyway. This is already pretty hot. So I'm going to put that down, but that's okay. So where do I actually put my coffee? Let me show you, because this is how we keep it fit. Where did I put that? Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to put in the coffee is the Fairlife high protein milk. I'll do like 4 ounces of this. And the way that I measure if it's 4 ounces without being weird is I just take the scale. People are always figuring out how do I weigh stuff without it being too tedious. My favorite way is to put your container on the scale, zero it out. And now, I mean, it took me 1 extra second to pull that thing out, but I can actually get an accurate read. Make sure it's on fluid ounces milk. Okay. I do like 4 ounces usually. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, it came out to 4 flat. Awesome. I don't stress if it's like a 0.1 or 0.2 over or whatever. I just make sure I know how much is in there so I can track it. And then I do honey for the sweetener. So all the people on Twitter talk about black coffee this, black coffee that. That's stupid. I mean, it's not stupid. Sometimes I drink my coffee black. I honestly just go off preference for taste. You can make coffee taste pretty good with just that chocolate milk creamer. It's not even creamer, it's just Fairlife high protein chocolate milk, and some honey. Put that on grams. I'll do like 5 to 10 grams of honey usually. I like it pretty sweet, so like 10 grams of honey. I'm a sweet guy for sure. That's my preference when it comes to flavoring things. Boom. Then just mix that up as quietly as I can so I don't wake my pregnant wife. And boom. Coffee is ready. All right, so we're good to go with breakfast. Got the water and the coffee. And I turn these bad boys on so the background looks cool, you know. But what I do right after this is Bible and journal. Sometimes that's the meal that requires the most discipline. But it's interesting. There's somewhere in Proverbs we read yesterday or this Sunday in church said something like a good-hearted soul like brings nourishment to the bones. And so I like to think that honestly, just getting that in, getting the word in, is something that helps with health. I think that in 1 Corinthians, when it says, you are bought at a price, therefore honor your bodies, it's interesting how when Paul gives the reminder, the call, the command to honor our bodies, he reminds us that we were bought at a price. He reminds us of God's love for us. So I think that reading the word every morning sets the tone, it nourishes the soul, and it reminds you how much God loves you. So how could you, tarnish something that he loaned you, right? We'll see you at lunch. All right, so it's time for lunch. It's about 11 o'clock, and usually lunch somewhere between like 11 to 2, depending on call schedule for the day. And we're going to keep this super simple, optimized for speed as well. Biggest thing for speed on lunch, guys, is having things that are having at least lean meats or other portions of the meal that are regularly prepped. So for example, we've got ground beef prepped. We've got some rice prepped. We've got a bunch of fruit and a bunch of other stuff in here. But I'm just going to go for the fastest option today. And I'm going to grab a Factor meal. So Factor Meals is this meal prep company that they'll deliver the meals to you, and you can select the high protein options. So I'm just going to pick whichever one looks good. Truffle butter chicken, green chili chicken, Parmesan sun-dried tomato chicken, smoky Gouda chicken. That sounds good. And yeah, these are pretty solid. So I've been doing these Factor meals for a while, and they're super easy to make. This entire Factor meal is 570 calories and 44 grams of protein. So I would consider that close to perfect, but it's not perfect because the ratio you want to be shooting for all of your meals is a 10 to 1 calorie to protein ratio. So for every 10 calories, there should be 1 gram of protein. In this, it's not quite 10 to 1, but it's very close. It's 570 calories. For 44 grams of protein, I'd like to see 57 grams of protein in this. So that's super simple to fix. While I'm putting this meal in, which it looks like the instructions are remove the outer packaging, pierce the film in the center of the bento one time with a fork. And heat for 3 minutes. Okay. So pierced, boom, pierced, and then pop this in here for 3 minutes. Super easy. But while that's cooking, because I want another 15 to 30 grams of protein in this meal, I'm at 30 grams of protein plus 7. I'm at 37 grams of protein for the day. I want to grab, let's see here, something else to throw in. So something that I do quite often is if I have prepped meat, I'll throw it into the Factor meal. It just makes it super simple. Just microwave the meat. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to do that. Let's see. So what I'll do is, while that Factor meal is warming up, grab the scale and do the same thing that we've been doing this entire video, which is get the scale, put the bowl on there, zero it out. So my scale just had an aneurysm. Zero it out, and we'll do ounces. I like to do beef in ounces. And so for the cooked ground beef, I know it's like 23-ish grams of protein per 4 ounces cooked. So let's do like 5 ounces, and I'll just throw the onions in there. I don't even track the onions personally. There's so little calories, and they really just add fiber and prebiotics to the meal. So we're doing 5.2 ounces of the ground beef, and I'll just throw that in the microwave as soon as this thing pops out, and we'll have our meal. All right, so, geez, Factor meal is out. It's hot. I'm not going to hold that right here. And my wife told me I'd enjoy these more if I, actually put them on a plate. So I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna pop the ground beef in the microwave. While I do that, do a minute 30. And just a few things on, let's see here, this meal here, guys. A few things on meals in general is I'm optimizing for a few things, right? Optimizing obviously for speed, like we have been this entire video. But I'm also optimizing for the effectiveness, for sure, right? Protein to calorie ratio, make sure everything's high protein, low calorie, so that I can stay lean. Super simple. The other thing I'm optimizing for is enjoyment, because what we found in our practice is that the people who enjoy their nutrition more end up being able to stick to it longer. Okay, those are the guys who actually sustain it, are the ones who deliberately enjoy the food. So it's worth making sure there's food that you enjoy in your nutrition. You shouldn't be doing just the chicken, broccoli, and rice. There's no reason to do that. If you like carbs, you shouldn't be totally cutting carbs. Okay, there's no reason to do that. I don't necessarily like green beans, and this is a lot of green beans, but it's probably good. It's definitely good to have something dark green in your diet too. Cover some of your micronutrients. There's a chicken, there's the potatoes and cheese. I don't usually put this on a plate. I usually just smash it quick. But for sake of the video and sake of my wife saying that I enjoy it more, we'll throw it on the plate. While I was putting that on the plate, got the extra ground beef warmed up. And I mean, this is realistic, guys. This is realistic here. Most meals, even a healthy high protein meal from Factor, which God bless you guys, Factor, but most meals are just not going to have enough protein. They're not going to meet that 1 to 10 protein to calorie ratio. And so now this meal, I'll have to track it right after I eat it, but it's going to be something like 44 plus 24, like 30-ish grams protein. Now this meal right here has 70-ish grams of protein. I'm just going to zoom out so you can actually like see me. Let's see here. This meal has 70-ish grams of protein now, which is awesome. So now I'm at likely over 100 for the day. And I've got a really tasty meal that took me like 2 seconds to make. Of course, we got to grab the water so that we're staying hydrated. But, you know, a lot of these things that I'm revealing in this video are probably not earth-shattering in terms of strategy. And, I mean, that's the reality of eating healthy, of staying lean. A lot of these things aren't going to be earth-shattering in terms of strategy. Most people generally know what is considered healthy food. Like when you look at this plate of beef, chicken, potatoes, and some green beans and some cheese, nothing on here is, you know, some secret thing that we found on the Amazon. That's because not being fat doesn't require a bunch of complicated stuff. Really, not being fat involves not being gluttonous and not being slothful, right? Like my favorite way to compare this, let me just say grace before this meal. Dear Lord, thank you so much for pray that you bless this meal. But one of my favorite comparisons is if you look at Jesus, right? Jesus obviously wasn't overweight, but he wasn't lifting a bunch of weights. He wasn't super highly educated on the deepest nutritional science, right? He definitely didn't know about beef liver, or he wasn't practicing intermittent fasting, and he wasn't taking all these crazy supplements or anything like that. But he still wasn't fat because he wasn't gluttonous or slothful. He just wasn't slave to those sins. And I like to mix this up because I want to get like the potatoes and cheese in with the beef. And guys, this is just a man meal here. Like, I don't know a single person in the world. Greens aren't the tastiest, but no matter how much of a man you are, like, look at this. That is a man meal. That is a mash of meat right there. See here. Hopefully, you guys don't mind listening to me chew a bit. But Jesus wasn't fat because he wasn't slave to gluttony and sloth, right? And look, this is look how much food that is. Guys, it's so interesting because when you eat the right foods, you eat something like lean meats and the veggies too. Potatoes is a good one too. You actually end up more full than if you're eating crappy foods. And these are the foods that help you stay lean and healthy. But yeah, on that point, Jesus wasn't not fat because he was doing all these crazy stuff. He just overcame. He never fell to gluttony and sloth. He was the perfect sinless man. He wasn't gluttonous. He wasn't slothful, right? Those are the two things that lead to people being overweight. It's not me, if you're a Christian watching this, it's not me saying that you're a terrible human being and you're not going to heaven because you're fat. All Christians have different things that they struggle with at different times. But, even though I grew up in church, when I was watching porn, I was slave to lust. And I was able to admit that. And it was admitting that kind of gave me the confession that gave me the power to overcome it, no longer be slave to it. So it's the same thing if you're overweight and you're a Christian. You do at some point have to confess and humble yourself and say, you know what, I have been gluttonous and slothful. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Doesn't mean you're going to hell. But the price that you have to pay for your sin it's not just like hell. It's not just in the other life. That's the worst price, obviously. That's the ultimate price, but Jesus saves us from that by covering us in his blood. But at the same time, if you are living in sin, sin isn't just arbitrary, right? Like this is God's sin is God pointing out how we're living out of alignment with his design for us. And so if we're living in sin, this is so good. This is delicious. If we're living in sin, we're not going to experience all the goodness he has for us, even here on earth. Right? If I'm sinful and undisciplined with finances, then you're going to experience financial struggles. If I'm sinful and lustful, you're going to experience relationship struggles. If you're sinful and gluttonous, you're going to have health struggles. Simple as that. Thank God that we're saved in eternity. But why would we choose to experience less of what God has for us down here? the other aspect of this is there is some reality to storing up rewards in heaven. Seems like although we're all saved by faith in Jesus, seems like there is a bit of a difference in terms of the rewards that we store up in heaven. And so whatever impact my life has down here on the rewards I'm going to have in heaven, obviously, I'd love to maximize that. Right? Not to say or claim that eating healthy, if it's coming from the wrong place, is going to get you a bigger mansion in heaven. Ultimately, God's going to be the one who refines all that by fire in the end. But the Bible seems to be pretty clear about honoring our bodies. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to finish my lunch. See you guys at dinner. Okay, so I think I found the secret reason why I haven't filmed one of these yet, and that's because I truly do optimize for time when I eat on top of effectiveness. And as an entrepreneur, you are constantly calculating your dollar per hour. You're constantly thinking about the people you need to serve, people you need to reach. So yeah, I think you should optimize for time. Now, snack. I'm hungry, kind of craving something. We have pickles. This is something that I'll snack on pretty regularly as well. These are Grillo's pickled chips. I think they're from Whole Foods. Tastes really good. These are awesome because with pickles, let's see, about 5 chips. So if you eat about 5, it's about 1 calorie per pickle. 1 calorie per pickle. So, and then they have a ton of sodium. If you eat 5, there's 200 milligrams of sodium. So these are really, really good for hydration. When we were training for the Ironman, we would like drink the pickle juice. It was really fun, but this is snack time. I'll grab probably like 3 to 5 of these. 1 calorie per. Nice and salty. And yeah, that's just snack in between calls. See you in the next one. All right, so next meal here, we got Soph back in. I know you guys were waiting for her to pop back in this video. And she's got a baby on board shirt because she's pregnant. She's pregnant, as we've been saying. And yeah, she's been interesting. Amazing. Awesome. Sadness. I mean, joy. We've been, just experiencing all that. But what the pre-workout meal is, I'm not big on pre-workout meals as a necessity, but there is a benefit in my opinion, slightly. They can just really top off the glycogen store so you don't end up burning through those, getting lightheaded in the middle of the workout. So the rule of thumb for a pre-workout meal is just quick digesting carbs. So have literally a piece of bread here with honey on it, and it tastes really good. And it lets you have a great workout. I guess it pumps up. What do you think, babe?
A little bit of green juice, and I might grab more sugar.
Sugar.
Uh-huh.
That's it. See you in the next meal. At the gym, drinking a rain storm for clean energy. That's just a marketing term. But these have 200 milligrams of caffeine. That's like 2 cups of coffee. Still undecided on if I'm going to drink the entire thing or just drink half because it is 2:30. And caffeine does help with workouts, help with focus, helps with muscular force output. It blocks the adenosine receptors, which are the neurotransmitters that tell your brain you're tired. So it doesn't actually like give you energy. It just makes your brain not receive the signals that say you're tired. And then it does lead to a little bit of an adrenaline dump. So usually have some form of caffeine before a workout. And see you on the next one. 0 calories, by the way, or 10 calories. They probably put some kind of sweetener in here, which is totally fine by me. Not worried about 10 calories whatsoever. All right, so it is time for the last meal of the day, dinner. Just got back from the gym, and we were doing leftovers. I have a ton of leftovers. This is like one of my favorite ways to put together meals, especially if we're just not in the mood for cooking. So I'm going to be doing some leftover rice. I'm going to throw in some leftover sweet potato, some leftover beef. What else was I going to throw in here? Some leftover turkey and some dark green baby spinach, baby spring mix. And there's salad there. I might eat some of that, but we'll see.
More for me. And I'm eating protein pasta. Brand is Barilla. I think it's 17 grams of protein just for the noodles. It's spaghetti, no brainer, obviously. And then ground beef.
Yum.
Lean.
Yum. I didn't know that was protein pasta.
Really?
I thought that was normal pasta
No,
when I ate it last night.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. Good normal pasta is fine too.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so super simple here. Going to, I like to do a little bit more carbs on my dinner. It's my bigger meal of the day. So I'm gonna do 150 grams of rice. Dancing in the video there.
Yeah.
That's good.
Eating pasta.
And then we're gonna zero that out. And we're just gonna put some sweet potatoes in here with extra potato. It's like a big carb meal. It's okay. It's fine. Onion. 52. And then we're gonna put the beef. We're probably just gonna put all this. That's fine. Boom. That was 5.1. And then we are going to put the leftover turkey. That's our dog, Arnie.
Low battery or video mic stopped.
Oh. Low battery. Close. Hopefully that kept going. Ooh, wow. That's how you know this isn't staged, folks.
I'm sure, dishes everywhere and messy get anything away.
No. Honestly, this turkey key is concerning me.
Why? That's right.
Yeah.
That was a batch.
That.
It's seen better days.
It's seen better days. I think I'm gonna.
On day one.
Yep. I'm gonna skip the turkey key, honestly.
Or sauce it up and add more.
No, it's beyond repair.
Never know if you don't try.
I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna do chicken instead. This is why you need options, folks.
Mm-hmm. Slow cook, fall apart chicken.
So good. So this was chicken that was made. This wasn't the crock pot, was it?
This was made on Saturday?
Yeah. In the
a couple days ago.
Was it made in the crock pot or was it was the other thing? What do you call it? The staub?
Yeah, I made it in the staub. $2.50 for a few hours.
Yes.
And yeah, beef broth, cream of mushroom, canned tomatoes, carrots, celery, onion, garlic. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So this is what the plate is looking like so far. And then we're going to put some extra chicken on there. As my kind of rule of thumb for these meals, obviously tracking to get it dialed, but is, yes, thank God, is like 8 to 12 ounces of lean meat per meal usually gets me right on the money with most of what I need. So that puts me right at about 8. Do a tiny bit more.
5 to 6 for women.
5 to 6 for women, for the ladies. Yeah. 8 to 12 ounces for me. That'll get me 180 to 200 plus grams of protein per day. Cool. So that's that. Then we pop this in the microwave and eat. Okay, so we got the meal here, and we're just gonna put like a cup-ish of dark green on there because micronutrients. Been getting better at this on top of the multivitamin. My wife nods along in approval. um, yeah, it's interesting. In the past I would really only eat the dark greens if I really want to increase the volume of a meal, just the total size of the meal. Because if you look at this, now this meal is like 60% larger for very few calories. I don't even track the calories when I do dark greens. And so this keeps you full if you add some dark greens to your meal. But the dark greens carry a ton of micronutrients that you'll miss in the meat and that you'll miss in a normal multivitamin. If you take a normal multivitamin and you're eating some kind of fatty fish and then you get some dark greens in and you're eating sufficient lean protein, you're going to have 99.99% of your RDAs met for all of your micronutrients. So this is just good for health in general. And then I've got, a rice bowl that looks like this. That was super easy to throw together with just some leftovers. And I am absolutely going to put some honey on it because I love honey. And it's delicious. So zero that out just to keep myself accountable here to the honey. This is one that's super easy to overdo. 12 grams. I like to do 20-ish grams. That gets me to about 60 calories of honey. And I will get every last gram when it comes to the honey for the flavor. Boom. Okay, awesome. And you know what? This looks like it needs some hot sauce. So we're just going to do this. And as long as I'm not overusing the hot sauce, use it a few times a week, I don't even track the hot sauce. It's basically 0 calorie as well per serving. So that's that. All right. So dinner. Super simple. Today is definitely one of those days where I just threw together some leftovers. Protein spaghetti. Rice bowl. How often would you say that we do this versus like actually cooking?
Leftovers?
Yeah.
I think we cook high quantities so that we can repurpose and not have to cook every day. I love to cook, but I love to have the freedom to cook instead of being like I have to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we just cook a lot of food so that we have pack leftovers, high quantities of meat, rice, carbs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, our fridge is always extremely full because although the default is like she'll cook something, we like to have that option. We like to make sure there's the dog getting his bits. But it's nice to just have things on hand for those days where she doesn't feel like cooking. She's pregnant right now, so that's not every single day. And sometimes I'll help, but it's nice to just have it prepped. Yeah, I think that's an easy one for people. Like anytime you do cook, just cook more than you're gonna eat. Just cook 4 times or twice to 4 times what you're gonna eat, and save the rest. You have to stay on top of your Tupperwares, but
yeah, and if you keep it simple, you can shake it up each time you reheat it. Change up the recipe or how you're making it if you're one of those people who gets bored.
Mm-hmm. Which is really everyone at some point. So
Variety is good.
hope you guys are enjoying this footage of us just eating and chewing.
Just chowing down.
Also, this is, babe, what is this?
Sparkling blood orange water with citrus. orange, like navel orange. Do you guys pronounce them navel
I don't know.
in Florida?
I don't know.
And lemon. All the citrus, antioxidants.
Yeah, sparkling water brought to us by our friend, John Swenson.
The bubbles in carbonation decrease your appetite. Although the feeling of hunger is sometimes satisfying if you're in a deficit.
That's true.
But carbonation also helps.
I love carbonated drinks because there's a few things that will trigger the leptin release. And leptin is the hormone that tells your brain I'm full. It literally makes food look unappetizing. Like if you ever find yourself walking past a chocolate cake and you don't even think about it, and then you pat yourself on the back and you're like, wow, I didn't even think about it. That's probably because at some point you had a leptin release, the I'm full hormone. And so the three things that make that hormone release are, number one, your stomach being full, like actual physical gut distension. As your gut expands, the physical act of your gut expanding leads to a leptin release. So anything that fills your gut, whether it's food or, see, this is what happens. This is what happens, guys. You guys all know this. It tastes better off of your plate, right? But whether it's your physical gut expanding, whether that's from food or even gas, air. So like if you're super gassy, you're not going to be very hungry. Or carbonation from sparkling water or diet soda or something.
I love how we have many glasses, like home glasses, and then this is what Gabe grabs. It must be a guy thing, or maybe it's a you thing. I don't know.
I don't know.
Sorry, off track. But
It's okay. There go like 8 grams of protein just gone down the drain for me.
I'm growing a baby.
That's true. So anything that fills your gut will lead to that leptin release, leads to you feeling full. Time. So if you eat slower, there's going to be a leptin release. That's also why it's good to have these high volume meals that are big and take a little bit longer to eat. Obviously, when speed is a factor at lunch and breakfast, I don't really take that into account at all. But for dinner, you have a little bit more time. Just take your time eating. Sometimes I'll even recommend that guys don't cut up their meat. I usually do because I have this all control, but if you force yourself to cut your meat, it'll take you a little longer. There's a dog, Arnie.
Great.
They met him already.
Oh, okay.
So eating slower will help. The other big thing that triggers a big leptin release is just protein. Anytime protein is detected in the gut, there's going to be a significant leptin release. So eat protein. But all these things are just factors that you can put into when you put together your meals. How can I make this higher protein? How can I make it take slightly longer to eat if it's dinner time? And then how can I fill my gut with, the carbonation just to make me feel more full? So that's that. That's dinner. I'm going to enjoy my dinner. And we're going to do snacks at night. So see you guys for the snacks. All right, so we are closing out the day, and it is snack time. This is honestly our most favorite part of the day. As you can see, she's happy. Pregnant mama's happy. And we take snack time very seriously. We do a deliberate snack time, dessert time, pretty much every single day. And we have a lot of options all the time. And I believe it's one of the keys to our sustainability because we have this dessert time that we get to look forward to. And when we keep so many good options on hand, it makes it easy to have an enjoyable, healthy dessert, right? So what we usually will do is something like frozen fruit. And I'll show you guys how to make this even more exciting. Don't worry if you're not that excited about frozen fruit. Soph has brought out pickles, which we talked about earlier, olives. Soph likes the seaweed because it's salty. I don't like the seaweed.
Salty, low calorie.
Salty.
It's kind of like sushi, but not.
Yes. That's
Snacky snack.
what she says about that.
Little spicy, crunchy, salty buffalo protein chips made out of chicken breast, egg whites, and bone broth.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So super healthy.
They're pretty spicy, the buffalo ones. I think they're spicy.
My favorite flavor of these is the chicken and waffle, which is very fun. I think we actually have some. There we go. So there's like a few crumbs left in here, but chicken and waffle wild chips, they're literally made out of chicken and egg whites. It's freaking weird. But they taste really good. And they're super satiating.
I'm just laughing because I literally just said the 3 ingredients.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, guys. Good job.
Repetition. Now you'll never forget, and when you see them at the store, you'll be like, I need to buy these.
You need to buy them. Here, we just have an assortment of fruits. We just like to eat fruit. And then the frozen fruit. And I'm going to show you what I like to do. But we'll also eat a lot of these Italian ices. Luigi's or Lindy's are my favorite brands. These Italian ices are awesome because they taste really good. They're only about 100 calories. Some of them are 110, some of them are 90. And they allow that leptin to release because they take a long time to eat. These Italian ices, they're like hard. So you have to sit there and let it freeze a bit. You can't just scorf it down. You have to kind of jam your spoon in there. But that lets the time pass, that lets the leptin release, which means you feel full, you feel satisfied. You don't feel like you have to go back for seconds, which is really, really cool. That's one of the hacks with the Italian ice is that it literally takes a long time to eat, which is good. And then she's making some fruit there. What I really like to do to make the fruit super fun, it's okay, you took my bowl, that's fine. It's okay, we are one. What's mine is yours. I think so. But what I like to do with the fruit is I'll take frozen fruit and thank you, babe. I have like 700 calories left, so I'm going to make this as fun as possible. But I'll take frozen fruit. Obviously good on fiber, antioxidants, and just tastes good. And sometimes if I need more protein, I'll mix Greek yogurt in with the frozen fruit and then put honey on top. That actually gives the brain the same sensation as something like ice cream would because you have the combination of sweet and then you have the combination of dairy. It's like milk and sugar, right? Milk and honey. So I like to do the Greek yogurt with the honey. That's really, really good. But I'm already at like 200 grams of protein today, so I don't actually want any more protein. I'm just going to do the fruit, and then I'm going to do honey. We have this super legit honey dispenser thing. Thank you, babe. And I'm probably going to be putting something like 50-ish grams of honey on this bowl of fruit. I have a lot of calories left, so I'm going to use them, well, as many as I can, to make this really, really tasty. There she goes, eating her olives. I don't like olives, but low calorie. So that's that. And then this is a really fun addition. If you want some texture, is adding some Truvia or like this low calorie sweetener to the fruit bowls. This adds some texture, which just makes it really, really fun to eat. And then look at that. I mean, that just looks delicious right there. It's cool because the honey freezes on the frozen fruit and becomes like this candied texture. So yeah, that's that. Again, I have a ton of calories, so I'm gonna add some even more honey here. Definitely make sure that you're monitoring the honey if you don't have a ton of calories left.
If I were low on protein today, I would add Greek yogurt to this.
Yes.
Or maybe do some cottage cheese with peaches and cinnamon.
Yes.
But I'm not. I eat a lot.
You know how I repeated your wild chips comment?
Mm-hmm.
I made that comment.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
We're
double
on the same page.
whammy.
Wow.
We're on the same page. Let's go.
We're married.
We are one. Yep. We're the same.
We are three.
We are three now. Because there's a baby on board.
4 with number 1.
With the number 1, which is actually the Trinity. So it's Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Sophia, Gabe, and our baby. We are 6. But yeah, this is what I'm gonna do for dessert. I'm actually also gonna throw this in. I have a ton of calories left, guys. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. What was starting as a full day of eating turned into somewhat of a vlog and nutrition podcast A to Z. And yeah, if you guys want to see, go for it. Go for it, babe.
We're gonna go watch The Chosen and get goofy.
We're gonna.
already overtired.
Wow, we are
Sorry.
so tired. We had a long work day today. It was one of those days where we just got going at the end of the night. And so we're feeling super goofy. Thank you so much, babe, for demonstrating that. And we're gonna watch The Chosen and get some good sleep. Wake up tomorrow and do it all again. So thank you guys. If you guys want direct help with this, remember defaultkings.com is where you can find all of that. And we'll see you on the next one.